Hey everybody, this message is in response to Trixie's comments about doing home adjustments with my little sander. I totally get it. I have been doing my adjustments pretty much ever since I got my dentures. I kind of watched my dentist do it at the office one day and talked to the tech a little bit, and I've got a denture tech friend that gave me some really good information, and then someone gave me a little nail file, a battery operated nail file, and that's what did it for me. So I really love using it if I need to make an adjustment, which I don't really have to do as much now because it's been a while. But here are my bottom dentures. Trixie is having issues on the inside of her denture right here. Just right here where the back is, that's where your tongue would rest, right in that area. So she's having issues right there. If I were her and it was digging down and bothering me and rough, I would take my little file, which this is what I have. It's just a little Home Medics battery operated nail file. It has removable tips, so you can put different ones on. There's bigger ones and buffers, sanders, you name it. It's for your nails and whatever, I guess, for people that do home nails. So it's really great. I've used it to adjust my dentures ever since I got my Russell Kleins. So I initially, because of the shape of my gums, one side was longer than the other, and so the notch in the front wasn't in the right place, so it was cutting, and I had to file this all down so that notch wasn't there anymore. It was super painful. So for Trixxi, here's my bottom denture, and as you can tell, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little notch cut out there, and I've taken everything out of my dentures right now. Everything's out. There's no denture fit, no comfort lining, no nothing. They're clean. They're all ready to go, except for I keep managing to get them dirty somehow. I don't know how I keep doing that. Maybe something's on my hands, or I had leftover something. I keep washing my hands. Oh, it might be on my towel. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but they're all clean in there. There's nothing in there at the moment, and when my dentures don't have anything in them, they are so loose. Like, they're so incredibly loose. It's so hard. They're so loose they don't stay in. I mean, there's a lot of room going on in there. Anyway, so for Trixie, oh no. Got it to work. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, so it's got two settings, low and high. It depends of what tip I'm using on this, but what I recommend is doing it over a surface that's soft. So put a towel down. You can use any type of sander like this. The Dremels are going to be a little bit more high powered. Just know that they do run at a higher RPM and they're a little more powerful. Use a very light hand. You never want to put pressure down on it, but you always want to make sure that you have your denture firmly in your hand or cupped in your hand. You want to protect the teeth if you can. I like to do this. I will take it and I will hold my denture with a towel so I don't hit the teeth, because it has slipped and I've almost nicked the teeth. So the best thing to do is just wrap it up in a towel where it's comfortable for you, just to protect the teeth a little bit. Just stick it in there and it gives you something to hold on to, and it protects the teeth. So make sure that you're protecting it, because it can slip. It'll get away from you. So you don't want to put any pressure on it with this. Light-handed, very light-handed. very, very little at a time until you're comfortable knowing what your sander does and what you need. Because I'm telling you, little tiny adjustments go a long way. They really do. It just takes a tiny little bit. So just little piece at a time, little piece at a time. You don't want to dig into there, and you know, if you can notice it with your eye, it might be too much. So just a little bit at a time. Fit it, then fit, do it again. Keep doing it a little bit at a time, and that's gonna work. So you just don't want to go rough and then take too much out. So if you're gonna void your warranty on your dentures, don't do this. I would feel so bad if somebody ruined their dentures because of some advice that I gave. But if you're in this situation where you have to do your denture adjustments at home, this is a great alternative if you use common sense. So you definitely want to hold them like this, and where Trixxi's having issues is right in here, right there in the back side where the tongue would meet your denture, right back here. So it's kind of digging down in there. For me, what I would do is I would just soften up that edge a little bit and bring it up just a tad. Just a little tiny bit makes a huge difference, but it might be rough too. So you might want to just sand it out, and you can also use a little emery board nail file to sand it if it seems like it's just rough. Try that first just with your hands, and if that's not doing the trick, get one of these out. So I'm going to show you where Trixxi's talking about right here in this area. So I'm holding my dentures firmly, but I'm not going to do that with my sander. I like to use it on a high because it just seems to grab more on the denture and move it around if it's on the low. So I would just down like that, and then down on the other side. Really, really, really lightly. You don't need a lot in there. And then I would do also on the inside, the part that goes up against your gum. Make sure it's not sharp. Make sure it's smooth. Really easy. And so just make sure that you don't leave any sharp edges. What I'm doing is just rounding the corner a little bit, making sure that you know, it's not rough and that it's really smooth, because that can make a big difference too. What I'm doing is just kind of smoothing it out in there. Kind of smoothing it out. And if you need to bring it up, like it's too long and it's digging into the bottom of your gum right there, what I would do is, see how it's shaped right there? You would want to hold your dentures like this and just start just a little bit. Until it was the right length in there, and that's all you need. But just make sure that you go over your edges nicely, and that they're soft and not sharp, because that's really important to make sure that they're soft up against your mouth and your gums. I always like to make sure that they're not sharp. And it just takes a really light hand. You don't need a lot going on in there. So that's it. You want to wash them after you're done, or brush them out. Just make sure you get any of that acrylic dust out of there. Washing them is really a great idea. I've got a little brush with water and stuff in it right here, so I can brush them out. But that's what you want to do. And just really give them, you know, a good once over before you put them back in your mouth. So you want to try it and see if that works. If you've got a liner on there, any sort of soft liner or anything like that, you can leave it on. That's not going to hurt it. Just, you know, don't let it peel off your whole liner or whatever. But you can adjust your denture with that in there. It's not going to do any harm. So that's what I did. I just took down the back just a tiny bit, and it's a really, really, really nice soft sanded edge. There's no you know, hardness in there at all. I redid it, just reshaped it just a tad. And if I were Trixxi, that's what I would do. A really soft, a really, really soft hand. Hold your dentures in the other hand really good so they don't move or jerk out of your hand. These are great. Love them. I think retail they're like 20 bucks. Thrift store, whatever. They're really, really great. And that's all you need to do. And you can do that anywhere. Back of your palate. I mean, wherever your dentures are giving you trouble. For me, I had it right in the front, right here, where it would go into the flap of skin right there. And it was rubbing because the notch was over further just because of the shape of my gums. So this is really, really great. I had to do a lot of work on it all along here, but it's perfect now. And I also had issues where this side was digging down into the crease of my cheek down in there. So I had to bring that up too. And I just did the same thing with this. I took the sander and lightly went over this little edge right here until I got it perfect. And like I said, a little bit goes a really long way. So little tiny bits at a time. You don't want to go too fast. Make sure that you're uninterrupted and that you're taking your time with it. You can practice on anything that's plastic first. You know, a little case, Tupperware. You know, anything to practice that's plastic. So it's not going to make a difference if it's plastic or acrylic, but just practice with it. Know what you can do with it. Take it to a hard piece of plastic and go to town. I mean, it doesn't hurt, and it'll help you get the feel of what your sander can do. So for Trixxi, I hope that works. I hope that was enough. If you need some more demonstrations, let me know. I totally don't mind. I'm really glad that I could help. So if you're doing a home adjustment with the sander, that's kind of a refresher of what to do. What I use is this little guy, and it's really easy to do. Stay away from the teeth. Just don't mess with the teeth. Also down in here. Don't get your sander down in there messing with the teeth. It's just not a good idea. So it's okay to do the edges. It's okay to do, you know, around in there. But don't go taking out, you know, a bunch of the acrylic on the inside or anything like that. It's going to be too much. If somebody wanted to just shave down the, hold on, these are so loose. If somebody wanted to just shave down the back side of their palette like this, I would just take this sander and I've got some liner on there right now, so, but just like that. And you can do as little or whatever. I would just do little bits at a time. You don't need to go crazy with it, but it's pretty easy to do. If you've got a rough edge or whatever, just little bits at a time. Don't go crazy, don't go fast, no pressure, and it'll take it out of there. So it's pretty easy. It doesn't, you know, it's not that hard. You just, you have to go slow. You have to be careful, and don't void your warranty, but it is doable. So I don't want anybody to take this advice and go ruin their dentures. If you're not confident, please don't do that. I'm just getting the stuff out of the little stuff particles that got sanded off out of my dentures and rinsing them really quick. So that's it. Again, I don't have anything on my bottoms because I'm going to show how to apply Denture Fit next. But it's pretty easy. You just need to, you know, take your time and be patient with it. And you can definitely do it. But just heed my warning. A little bit goes a long way. And if you must do home adjustments, take your time. You can video call me or email me. I'll put my email in the comments. And if somebody needs some help, I don't mind picking up the phone or emailing back to give some advice or help somebody out. Just make sure that, you know, the one thing I say about wanting to do adjustments on your dentures is make sure it's your dentures that causing you problems and not your mouth. I made that mistake at first. I thought that it was my dentures when it was actually my gums that were changing. And so it's really important to make sure that, you know, you've had this problem, you know, it's consistently giving you an issue, that it's actually your denture and not your mouth. Because sometimes your mouth is just being funky and it takes a couple days, but it'll resettle itself. So just make sure that you know, you need to change your denture and it's not your mouth that needs just a break. Because I get an area back here where there, like this hard line shows up on my gums. And I think it's from sleeping in my dentures because I clench my teeth. And so I think it's clenching down, and when I wake up in the morning, I've got this really hard line, just like a crease in my denture, or in my gums, and it hurts. But I know it's not my denture doing that. It's actually me clenching my teeth. So I don't want to change my denture because I know that it's not my denture, it's my gums. Anyway, that's how you do a home adjustment recap. If anybody has any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to demonstrate some more on it. But just take your time, go slow, and only if you must.